There we go. Hey there, friends. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it might be in your part of the world. Welcome back to the live stream. This is C Sharp with CSharpFritz. How you doing out there, friends? It is a warm early July here in the States, in Pennsylvania, just outside Philadelphia. I hope you're doing well out there. So good to be back. We're gonna have a full 2-hour stream today talking about getting you ready to build and add features to websites using SignalR today. Really looking forward to this. This is one of those technologies that I think when you add into a website, when you add into an application, really lights it up. The interactivity makes it something very cool. We've had one or two discussions about SignalR in the past here on stream. We're going to add new features into our application today, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Adding a live interaction feature into our collections website. Let me say hello to the chat room. You know the chat room. They're right over there. Hello, hello. Good to see you, folks. RM is here. Chris Jones says, good date time now. Yes, good date time now. That's a good way to put it. Apricot, greetings to you in Ukraine. Conrad is here from Cameroon. Welcome in, Conrad. Keith P, hello to you. It's meltingly hot in the UK, says Smab. Yeah, we're going to be feeling a bit of that going around the horn here, I think, over the next few weeks. Definitely hearing a bit of that from my friends in Texas. It's going to be a little bit warm here in the States. Not gonna lie. Charles Goluli, first Monday stream for you, and well, great to see you, Charles. Napalm is here. Hello. Strug, greetings to you in Russia. Welcome. Manoj, hello. Selva from India is here. How you doing there? Andre is here from that's Slovakia, right? The Slovakian flag? SK Slovakia, right? I have that. Do I have that right? Guillermo, how you doing there in Spain? Back from paternity leave. Oh my goodness! Congratulations to you and yours on a new child. That is fantastic to have. Take some time for paternity leave. Absolutely. Hello, Mohammed in Syria. Good to see you. Knowledge for Fun says this is going to be fun. Greetings, everyone. Yeah, I think it will be. We've got our timer set here so that we do a little bit of AMA, a little bit of chat here. Welcome in, folks. Talk about some other topics before we get into the instructions for today's stream. Coors 1K, hello to you. Carlos, hello to you in the Dominican Republic. Happy Monday to Brian in Mississippi. How you doing, Brian? Zofran 777. I should play the lottery with that. Good to see you in is it Wausau, Wisconsin? Looking forward to the show. Yeah, I hope we're gonna have some fun answering questions, talking. And once again, this is one of those things that folks on the YouTube recordings get frustrated with, us having these conversations. It's all captured here. It's an archive, so you can see it, you can catch up. And if there's any questions along the way that maybe you asked, or maybe a friend asked and referred you to, you can go back and find it here on the recording. Lazaro, how you doing there in Portugal? Is it Matuz in Poland? Welcome in. Napalm on Twitch says, SignalR is great. I built a menu board for my friend's craft beer brewery using it. There you go. Push updates from any other device over WebSockets. Worked great. Yes. So SignalR is a technology. It's an abstraction over a couple of other technologies that allows you to have a unified interface, a unified API, so that you can push messages to client devices from your server. Think about it. Applications like this chat room that you're seeing here that are having messages appear as you key them into a text box. That message is going to a web server somewhere, and then it's being distributed out. It's fanning out and pushing that content into other folks' browsers or maybe their mobile application. For me, this is a browser that I have embedded in my video production application that is taking those updates as soon as you press send on your message, and we put it into the browser and other folks get to see it and interact with it. And it's that live interaction that we're going to be building a little bit of today. Before I read through some more messages there, let me get some music playing in the background. Here we go. This is Stream Beats. This is music that is DMCA free, royalty free. You can listen to wherever you'd like, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube. It's all royalty free. No worries about anybody challenging you and saying take down or silence your videos when you have this playing in the background. I like having a little bit of music in the background for a little bit of ambiance. And this is the Synthwave playlist. This is music that is, it's kind of groovy and kind of upbeat, a little bit electric, which sounds fun and kind of on topic for us while we're writing some code together. Big thanks to Harris Heller and the team at streambeats.com, their creators, for putting this music together for us to listen to today. All right, now that I've got that whole giving credit to that out of the way, let's get into some more questions here, some more greetings. Like, is that SharanPreet in India? Hello, welcome in. Lou Popeye, hello in your office. Hello. Firefighter is here from Poland. Sistalani, hello to you in Indonesia. Infinite Star Code on Twitch has a comment here. Says, I found SignalR easy to build with, but I needed better design patterns for bulk event updates versus per client with data update events. So there are limits as to how much you're going to paint in an update live on websites. We're pushing for our text messages here, whether you're on Twitch or YouTube or you're just watching the messages come in here. It's just a message. If you're pushing bigger updates, we can do that through another feature of SignalR called streaming, where we can stream and open up and push larger packets of data. I'm not going to get too far into that, but I want you to be aware that that is a feature you can use if you need to push more than something like the size of a chat message here. We're going to be pushing through just information about some primary keys and some numbers back and forth. Nothing too complex. Guillermo with a question here. Are we going to have a session talking about Maui? Yes, and I want to get into .NET Maui in August or September. I'm going to do a whole series on .NET Maui. So yes, coming. We'll absolutely get into that. I'm finishing off this ASP.NET series that we started before build, and we've had a bunch of time off. American holiday, 4th of July was last Monday. A number of other holidays in the way. That's kind of the problem with the Monday. It seems like a lot of holidays are on Mondays, and we end up pushing things around. So we're going to finish this up in the next few weeks. I, of course, want to get to an errata stream. There's been a number of questions that have come through to the GitHub repository that I want to make sure I answer. Great things that have been posted over there. Some very interesting questions that have come through. I want to make sure that I reference some of them properly here. There was a question about working with Azure Key Vault, Entity Framework temporal tables, working with Service Bus, logging. We talked briefly about logging, but I'm going to go a little bit deeper. How to build unit tests, build a unit test application to go with the collection web application we're working. So we're gonna absolutely go through that in the next week or two, and answer your questions that are out there, and go through and add those features into the application that we've been slowly building here on stream. And that's kind of something that I think has been unique and a little bit different about this set of streams we've been doing. We're building an application that shows off the various features of ASP.NET as we build them. So instead of just saying, well, here's a finished application, go take a look at it, and wow, isn't that great? Click, click, buttons work. Ooh. Let's talk through. Let's add a feature. Talk through what it means to add that feature. Let's break it. Let's try different things with it. Change the configuration options and see what happens. That's the advantage of having a live stream like this and talking to somebody who's giving a presentation about this. Really, really good interaction with that. Andre with a question here on YouTube. Will I cover SignalR with identity, SignalR for groups and individual users? I wasn't going to get into individual users. I can show where that API is. It's the same thing with groups. I can show where that API is. Not necessarily going to dive into it. Identity, I will talk about when we get to our security stream, which is in a week or two. We're going to be talking about that. So, not today. I'm just introducing SignalR, but we are going to get into SignalR with security in a future stream when we secure the application. Is that Nileksh? Hello to you in the world. Wow. Kind of like Warsaw without the R sound. Warsaw. Okay. All right. Bester, hello, on Twitch asks, I'm curious to see if SignalR might be the solution for a problem I encounter in the website that I maintain. Well, help me out. What's the problem that you're running into? Let's talk about it. RM on YouTube is from Miami. Welcome in. Good to see you in South Florida. Hello, hello. Rana says MBJ. I'm not sure what they're referring to. Cores1K asks, can SignalR be used with a SPA, with a single-page application? Absolutely. In fact, we're going to be using a JavaScript API to connect to an ASP.NET server and pass messages back and forth. SignalR gives you two-way communication to your server, not just one way where we're typically pushing a button or doing some interaction from a browser and getting or posting or putting information on our server. That two-way means that our server can also wake up at some time and push data into your browser, into your application to update and do different things, like this text chat room that's updating for us here. Does this chat use a SignalR connection? No, it doesn't. However, the underlying technology that it does use, SignalR supports. So, yeah, infinite star code. That's right, streaming. There's a feature inside SignalR called streaming that you can use to send larger batches of data back and forth to your server. Is it NunnyBN 233 on Twitch asks, does SignalR, is it HTTP or WebSockets? That's the beauty of it. Depends. SignalR is an abstraction over these technologies and will use whatever is appropriate, whatever is available with our clients that connect. So if you have somebody connect that doesn't have access to WebSockets, maybe their firewall blocks it, it'll switch and use HTTP technologies. It'll try to use server-sent events, and if it can't use that technology, it'll even fail over to long polling with HTTP. Really great stuff to make sure that you always get folks connected. James on YouTube asks, how similar is SignalR to the way Firebase works? I'm not familiar with how Firebase works. SignalR is strictly a protocol that allows us to communicate back and forth between server and client applications. Charan Preet says, today I created a console app with Regex to upload and download from an SFTP server. Fantastic. Congratulations. Always good to hear folks accomplishing something that they set out on. Absolutely. Very cool to hear. Apricot spent 10 hours yesterday building a maze generator in Unity. All right, cool. Arroya Morgan says, have not used SignalR explicitly. Well, you're going to learn a little bit about it today, I think. Gabriel, good morning to you in Brazil. How you doing there, John Peter? Snow Nectar Lay, with just an ellipsis there. How you doing there, Snow Nectar? Good afternoon to, is it Inga in Oslo? Welcome, welcome. Joshua in Malawi, hello. John Peter says, .NET did a good stream on identity the other week. Yes. We continue to have folks that present other topics on live.net. You can check out all the content that we're constantly putting together and presenting for you over there on live.net. And you'll see the same content on that website, on our YouTube channel, on Twitch, wherever it is that you want to connect and work with our content. We're making videos available for you. And of course, everything is archived and available on youtube.com/.net. Sounds very cool. Well, thank you. Cesar, I remind you of Bob Ross. We're going to build beautiful things, the joy of coding. Yes, that's right, Cesar. We're going to build happy little trees. Happy little trees that you can interact with. You can click on, and they'll turn green. They'll grow up, and eventually it'll be autumn. The leaves will change colors, and they'll drop. But that's okay, because the following spring is a whole time of rebirth and new growth on those trees. And it'll be a happy time. And we'll all be writing code and painting. What the heck is this? Yes, of course that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to have a good time. Arroyo wants to send scriptable objects via Unity to a server as JSON to store and retrieve later. Is that something SignalR can do? Well, you're sending JSON packets back and forth to a server. Yes, SignalR can do that. There is a C# client library. I'll show you where you can find that. I'm not going to use it today, but I'll show you where you can find that, and you can hook that up inside of any C#, any .NET application that you want to build, whether it's Blazor, console applications, WPF, Windows Forms, .NET MAUI. You can get that connected and use that technology. Hassan, how you doing there? Burn P, hello. Good to see you. Bulat, greetings of peace from a Kazakh staying in Turkey and currently. Fantastic. Hope you're having a good week there in Turkey. Does SignalR is considered a middleware? Asks Nuni. Yes, it is. It is a bit of middleware in ASP.NET. We'll talk a little bit about that. The boys, Brawl Stars. How you doing? They're currently learning C#. I hope all the boys are having a great time learning C#. Be careful about Homelander there. Stay away from the eyes. Do you have any tips on learning? Write code that is... When folks ask tips for learning, write code that is valuable to you. Write a little bit... Start a little side project. There's nothing wrong with writing more code, writing more applications and things. When you're learning, to me, the best way to learn is to do with technology. So write a little application that makes sense, that does something that you find valuable. And that's what we're doing a bit of here today. We're building a website to manage our collection. What is your collection? I don't know. You might collect movie posters, coins, stamps. I collect hats. We're gonna show off my hat collection. I've only got 2 items loaded into it just for the purposes of showing some demo data. But whatever your collection is, so we're just going to slowly add features into this website to introduce other concepts that we want to learn. So as you're learning, as you're going through learning C#, write a little application, write a little something that is going to be valuable to you so that you're invested in it and you want to think of new ways to make it faster, better, and help you in whatever it is that you might be doing. I want to be able to index and have information about my hats that I can show off to folks. So I've got a little collection website that we're going to build and manage that has all these features in it that I think will be fun for folks to interact with. So that's where I say, do something that you're going to be invested in. Something that you're going to be a stakeholder in and be, oh yeah, I want to make that better. I want to have fun with that. So all the best to you and the boys in learning C# there. Kudos to the live stream. Thank you, Sharon Preet. Appreciate that. Bebe is excited to join the live interaction. Fantastic. Glad you're here. Bester on Twitch says, we have hundreds of users using hundreds of products and fewer using the same product. We need to lock a product when any user is already in that product and press a button. Nobody can enter that product after that. Can SignalR send a message to all users trying to enter that product? Yes. Yes, they can. Absolutely. To disable and enable interaction? Yes, absolutely. Where did I buy that GitHub hat? Put a link in the description. I'm not sure it's available anymore. But there is a store. Right where there's a GitHub swag store out there. Yeah, the GitHub shop.com. do they still have... I'm not sure if they still have hats. No, they don't. Headwear, well, it's not quite the same. They changed it up. But you can find... Where'd it go? There you go. There's a link to the hats on the GitHub website. Mine has the silver one here. It looks like the current hat that they have there has a black... It's just a darker logo. I'm not a fan of how they did that. Kind of hard to see the logo. Which then makes my artificial intelligence that detects hats. Yes, I have an artificial intelligence that detects hats. Like I said, I got invested in it, and I wrote an application to do the thing for me. But it identifies hats, and if it can't detect that, it doesn't know what it is. Hassan asks, what is the best way to avoid on-prem proxy timeout for long synchronized API call? That is very specific. I would need to see more details about that. I'm sorry. How you doing there, Viral Clips? Talking about worker service. Can SignalR deliver coffee? Asks Dukasoft. Maybe. It certainly can send some message to you can use it to send a message to a DoorDash or an Uber Eats driver to update my order that we're gonna have delivered here. Sure, I suppose I could do that. Zofran on Twitch asks, what is the best way to move data from an old version of a SQL database in an MVC app to a completely new version of the app with different tables with some of the same info? Pray. No. You're gonna end up having to write a lot of extract, transform, and load types of operations. You can do that with the Data Studio features inside of Visual Studio, but you're gonna be doing a bunch of ETL there. I would set up some sort of, and your database administrator is going to be able to help you with that. Using the data tools to be able to extract, transform, and load it into a new database. Once it gets over there, if you're using a repository pattern with your MVC application, we talked a little bit about MVC pattern, you're going to be able to change the underlying database connection underneath that repository and how it fetches data so that you can maintain the same interface for your user, the same API for your user interface to be able to interact with. Can I please help in worker threads? What do you mean, can I help in worker threads? Thank you, Hassan. Appreciate the kind words. When will the session start? In about 18 minutes, we're going to get into the code. Until then, I'm answering questions like, when will the session start? Server makes a decision regarding usage of products. Okay. The folks having a discussion on stuff there. You can use SignalR client on mobile. Yes, you can. Absolutely, Napalm. Nunibun asks, is there a difference between SignalR for .NET Framework versus .NET Core? Yes. There is, because the way that .NET Core, the way that ASP.NET Core interacts with the HTTP context, all the information about your request and your response is a different shape. It's a different, it's different binary object that you're interacting with, so it is different. Andre, you're welcome. Nah, sorry, no hat command over here on these channels. Hey Mario, guten Nachmittag from Deutschland. Oh, guten Nachmittag to you. Great to see you. Good afternoon in Germany. Stephen D, yes, I'm doing well. Push coffee command, Napalm says. Yes. Hypertext coffee pot control protocols. Bester with a link to that. That's pretty cool. Which streaming platforms is this stream available on? Asks Electro. We're on YouTube, we're on Twitch, and we're also on live. We're on Learn TV. So, Maxi TB, isn't the EF context just a unit of work pattern implementation? No, it's not. It's a unit of work implementation with an object relational mapper. There's a little bit more to it than that. It generates a whole bunch of code for you. It does unit of work, It does a whole lot more as well. Surly Dev on Twitch asks, what questions am I willing to answer here? Anything is pretty wide. Anything around tech, .NET, C#, Visual Studio, a little bit of Azure we'll cover and we'll talk about here for sure. Yeah. I'll tell you if I'm not going to answer your question, and I'll politely decline. I'm not going to be mean or anything like that. I want to make sure you're having a good time. 15 minutes to go. Arroya asks, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Please let me know if I'm not. So SignalR sits on a server like a worker or a bot and wakes up to API calls, handles it, and then goes back to sleep. That's pretty close. It's pretty close. It is a service that sits on a web server and handles calls into it from both a client and also from the server to send messages out to attached clients. Hey, Saduki, good to see you. She's one of our MVPs. Great to see you over there on Twitch. Hello, hello. Gabriel asks, is using SignalR the same thing as subscribing to an event? For example, it's the same concept. It's not the same action, but it's that same concept where you're going to be listening for messages to be sent to you. Yes. You're welcome, Electro. Surly Dev asks, did I notice there was a Getting Started with C# stream either on here or on Microsoft Developer the other day? Getting Started with C# on the Visual Studio or .NET. No, I didn't know there was one there. On the Microsoft Developer channel, that's news to me. Crafty Becky, good morning to you over there on Twitch. Hello, hello. Well, thank you, Arroyo. Appreciate it. Charan Preet says, I'm facing difficulty using a mocking database to store records without actually storing it in the production database. While using NUnit test case implementation, can I help? This is where I think repository pattern does a nice job, where entity framework with an in-memory database configuration will help you with that as well. Take a look. Let me see if I can find the docs real quick. Docs, Microsoft Com, EF, in-memory database, right? There we go. Take a look at that article, and that should get you somewhere. That's the English. That's the American version. Stand by. Let me get the language identifier out of there. There you go. That link will do better for you. But load up the in-memory database with the data that you want, and it'll query and work with that instead of your production database. Greg Bryant asks, what's the best way to wrap web forms application with Blazor WebAssembly? Well, you're not really wrapping it. You might add WebAssembly into the application and start migrating pieces into it. That would be the direction I would go. I'd want to see a little bit more about your individual scenario there to discuss further, Greg. Hey Mario, love SignalR, using it to communicate directly between .NET and the Unreal Engine 5. Very cool. Unreal Engine's built with C++, so working with a .NET server to get that live interaction, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. You can get a C++-based client to interact with that. Stephen D asks, is SignalR similar to push notifications on iOS and Android? Kind of, yes. I would. You're pretty close. Yeah. Nikhil, how you doing there in India? Namaste. Surly Dev, can't remember who was hosting it. Captain Sophia rings a bell. Lawrence Bunyan. Yeah, I'm not surprised if it was Laurent. SignalR is Microsoft's implementation of... No, it is not. AJ Nobaka. Zerks, why use SignalR and not raw WebSockets? So that's exactly the answer to AJ Nobaka's comment. SignalR is an abstraction over a series of technologies, WebSockets being the most modern of them, and it will step down and use other technologies if WebSockets is not available. You don't have to write some sort of a checking and failover code to say, oh, I can't connect over WebSockets. Use this technology instead. Use that technology instead. SignalR does that for you. There is an implementation of WebSockets for .NET that you can download and use. However, we recommend folks use SignalR so that you have that failover. So you're always going to be able to get connected. If you need that durable connection that's always interacting, use SignalR. If you know you're only ever going to use WebSockets, okay, then use the WebSocket technology. But we think most folks would prefer to use SignalR because of that. Ramanan asks, how future-proof is Blazor? Will it become the new web forms in the next few years? Will it become the new Angular JS in the next few years? Will it become the new jQuery in the next few years? jQuery has been around for almost 20 years. I think that's a pretty cool thing to be. I wish I had a web framework that was around for 20 years and people were still building new applications for it. That's a pretty cool thing, isn't it? So I don't know if what you're saying there is web forms is a bad thing, that, oh my gosh, it's been around for this long. Or is it a good thing? Wow, it's been around for this long. Is that good or bad? We're continuing to invest and build on Blazor. We hope it'll be around for a long time. We have Blazor with WebAssembly configured. It's part of our long-term support. You're going to get at least 4 years of support out of it. Would you like 10 years? Would you like 15 years? Would you like 20 years? There's a lot of people out there that are complaining that they only got 20 years of support out of web forms. Is that what you want? Or would you rather have 2, 5, and force people to migrate? Let me know. I'm curious to hear your feedback. How you doing there? Sauerland Bauer. Greetings to you in Germany. Do I know what is the bandwidth consumption when a client is connected via SignalR and idle for 24 hours? I will show you the connection timeout, the connection keep alive. It's bytes that it's passing over the wire just to keep it alive. And even then, you can disconnect. You can tell it to disconnect if it's been connected for so long and nothing's happened. Charan Preet asks, which one would I prefer, database first approach or code first approach? If it's an existing application, of course, database first. If it's an existing application, and an existing database. If it's a brand new application, code first. In the old days, the APIs were not implemented over all browsers equally, says MaxiTB. That's still happening. It's just folks are all using the same browser. Everybody's using a Chromium-based browser. So, yeah, jQuery originally created in January 2006. Thank you. Bester. John Peter, is it good WinForms is still good to use in 2022? Yeah, WinForms is still good to use. Absolutely. Cube Technology, greetings to you in Cambodia. Terry Horton combined SignalR with Serilog, real-time logging from a console app to a web page, text file, and SQL Server. Very cool stuff. Yes, absolutely. Zahari has a back-end web API for some projects with MVC, HTML, CSS front-end. Cool. How could SignalR improve your project, asks Zahari. You're going to get that live interaction. The chat that you're interacting with right here is using the same type of push technology that we're going to demonstrate and work with using SignalR today, where you keyed in a message, hit send, and it just appeared in my browser here. So how does that work? Is that something that makes sense for your application? More than just news websites, sports websites, where scores are being updated as matches go on. Those types of real interactions that you have to consume information over the web, yeah, that's how SignalR can improve your project. Claudio asks, is SignalR similar to a message queue? No. A message queue is more like more along the lines of durable messaging. SignalR is more like a pub sub system. You're going to publish and you're going to subscribe for messages, and other places are going to publish messages onto that. Working for enterprise, you need 20 at least. Sadly, 20 years. Yes. In favor of other priorities and upgrades. Yep. MaxiTB uses Firefox. Me too. Are there any plans to add Linux support for .NET MAUI in the future? Folks ask this every week. I can't answer that question. Are there plans for it? There's open source projects out there for it that folks are working on. Is Microsoft going to provide support for it? Are folks going to buy the technology and work with and build on Linux? There's a huge investment, both engineers to build and folks to support. If folks aren't going to use it, then don't build it. So, we're waiting to find out. Abstraction implementation. How does SignalR work in Blazor as opposed to Core or web forms? It works the same way as it does in any other C# client. It connects with an API, trying to connect first WebSockets and then scaling back. And once it gets a connection to a server, it listens with that HTTP client. Greg Bryant is looking into using server-side Blazor with a reverse proxy. Was wondering if there's a way to do it with WebAssembly. Route the older pages to a component. Yes, absolutely. You're going to need some sort of a catch-all page that will handle those requests, and then the Blazor router picks up that address and routes to the appropriate pages inside the Blazor application. Sardor, how you doing there in Uzbekistan? I'm sorry, in Uzbekistan. My apologies. Good to see you. Yeah, nothing lasts forever. That's right, Ramana. And how long do folks want it to last? Support as long as .NET 6.7.8. Yeah, we're continuing to invest and grow the technology for Blazor. Osama Al-Rashad, how you doing there? Why can't we make acknowledgement when it receives an event from the client to server when using SignalR? I'm not quite sure what you're looking for there. You can certainly send a message back. Sure. Can I talk about security over SignalR as well? I will when we do our security stream in a few weeks here, Yashar. I want to get in and just introduce the concepts to start, but that is on the agenda when we get to the security. Web forms should have lasted forever per a lot of folks. Yeah, Napalm. Yep. Yeah, authentication and authorization. We will talk about in the future, in the future stream where we get into all authentication and authorization for ASP.NET. All right. We are closing in on the end of our little AMA session here. About 2.5 minutes to go. Whew. I really do enjoy the AMA time here together, answering questions, giving you that time, that buffer when, sure, we'll talk about and answer anything. Because before when I was doing this, I would get into the actual content of the session, and folks would throw questions, and I ended up delaying and missing, not getting things done because I would pause to answer folks' questions for a very long time. When we get into the actual lesson, if it's not on topic with the lesson, we're not going to answer it. So we're going to keep things focused on the actual topic that we're building around. That's what this time up front is for, to make sure that we get your questions answered and to make sure that you're successful. Jeremy asks, does Microsoft use SignalR with their Teams app? We use it with a bunch of the Microsoft 365 apps. Yes. What's the best alternative to handle large amounts of data offline? I need some more context on that. OneDrive. Nice big server with a couple terabytes of data in it. I need some context. I need some direction. What are you asking there, Lorenzo? Um, but eject your hard drives and stick them under your mattress so that it's offline and available for you. I don't know. How you doing there, Prog Testing? Good to see you. You have a dip in motivation, you need a hug? Try coffee. I like it. So, and I kid Lorenzo, but I just need some context. So, that is one thing. When you do type and ask a question here on chat, I'm happy to answer your question, but I need some context around it. Otherwise, I'm not quite sure what it is that you're looking for help with. We should have something to catalog the questions and answers to try and remove duplicate questions over weeks and months. Not a bad idea, Chris Jones. Not a bad idea. And throw some of these questions and answers onto a blog post and send folks over there to have an artificial intelligence read the question, compare it, and send you over to that other place. I tried to do that with the Q&A bot over on my channel, and it's just not quite there. Cache everything. Put it in C-temp. See, there you go. There you go. Liliana Katrina. How you doing there, Lily? Good to see you. You'll implement that mattress technique immediately, right? Just save everything onto the database, pop it out of your NAS, your network attached storage server, unplug that external USB drive when you're not using it. You go to bed at night, put it under your pillow, put it under your mattress, and the offline data fairy will be by to swap it out and give you a couple bucks. Now, do folks do that outside the States? Never mind. Can you use SignalR with IoT devices? Absolutely. Yes, you can. We are at the end of our AMA session here. Thank you so much for your questions. I hope my answers were helpful. I hope we get you pointing in the right direction. Some sort of living blog or post, stream, ask questions. It's not a bad idea. Not a bad idea at all. To lob some of those questions over in, and particularly with sample code, into the GitHub repository, so it's just all there. Maybe in the wiki over there. I like the ideas. Let me get back to that. Let me come back to that. So let's move on. We're going to talk about SignalR here today. The AMA session is over. My apologies for those of you that are coming in now with questions. I will be back tomorrow over on my CSharpFritz channel, and we'll talk about anything and everything over there. It's fun. That's cute. Can SignalR be used for push notifications to a user's desktop? Yes. There are all kinds of libraries that you can use as clients to connect and interact. Can SignalR help sync browser-side data residing in IndexedDB with server-side data? Yes. Yes, it can. What's a reason why you wouldn't want to use SignalR? You have a disconnected data set and you don't want to manage those disconnections, and that time where they come back and reconnect and make requests is appropriate. All right, let's get into this. Let's start changing over. Let me get the programming glasses on there. We're ready to go. Changing over microphones. There it is. We're on the new microphone, the headset microphone, because we're going to go over to that set over there and start writing some code. Start opening this up. Now, I got something different we're going to do here today. Let me grab my phone so I can catch up on any information that comes through. I've had one or two emergencies that have happened on stream, and I've had to respond to them. Why is SignalR better than WebAssembly? Two different things. Today, not only are we going to be coding with .NET Core, are we going to be coding with SignalR and ASP.NET. We're going to use the M1 Mac. Where is it? It's back there. You can't see it. I'll be over there. And we're gonna get into things. we've had a couple requests to, hey, can you show me how to do this on a Mac? Yes, we're going to be doing things on the command line, on terminal, using a Mac, and Visual Studio Code today. All right, just double checking my sound levels. Test. Give me a little bit more. There we go. Let's do this. Let's head over to the other scene. Woohoo! There we go. Over to the other set, and what? There we go. Yep. All right. There we go. And I've got my what's this called? My teleprompter loaded up. WebSockets over SignalR. Any good reason? You have a piece of hardware that is dedicated and only communicates over WebSockets would be the only reason that I would choose that. The Stream Deck that many streamers use is WebSockets only. So that's a thing that you would have to use. No, this is an M1 Tiger Pleb. Nah, please. I don't rate and get an M2 right away like that. Ooh, no. So we are on the M1. My environmental changes haven't always gone smoothly. You're right. But I think we're in better shape here today. I think we're in better shape. Now, I don't know. I've got... Come on, where is it? I want to... No. My Linux-based laptop, the connector for the display came loose, and I've got some artifacts on it. I had a new display arrive, and it's over here. I need to find time to install it and do some hardware swap out. So I don't think I'm going to do it live on stream, but that's going to be a project probably next weekend. Reinstalling and putting a new display in my laptop. Because right now, while you're watching me here, you can see I've got my Mac. Right there it is. Right there. If this wasn't a Mac, I couldn't do this. I've got my Mac, I've got my laptop that I'm using for a teleprompter over here, and I have two other machines that I'm using to produce the stream over here, as well as a monitor so I can see everything that's going on up there. So we got things going on. All right. You have an M1 Mac and left to run .NET on it. Last year it was pretty. Seems like they fixed a lot. Yes. Yep. All right. It's all CGI and fakes. Yes, that's right. This is all green screen. Anyways, let's get into this. Let's talk about SignalR. All of our code is available on GitHub. GitHub.com, CSharpFritz, C# with CSharpFritz. You can run the GitHub command in chat to get to the same location. There you go. C# with CSharpFritz, and if you scroll down here into sessions, we are in season 2, and down here you'll see the collection website, and if you're watching this on a recording, it's not in this branch, it's in the main branch. We're in folder 1206, SignalR. Now, I've taken where our code was at the end of last stream and just copied it into this folder, because we're going to walk through and build this stuff live, okay? You need a behind the scenes of the studio? We can do something. M1, love it or hate it as a C# developer. I'm not as big a fan as some other folks are. Battery lasts a really long time on this device. However, there are all kinds of little idiosyncrasies that just flat are annoying or frustrating. Thank you, Coors1K, with the link shared there on Twitch. Can somebody copy that over to YouTube, if you don't mind? There's things in here like changing the shell from Z shell to bash because folks at Mac decided everybody's going to use Z shell. Doesn't work. It just flat doesn't work. There's other places like that that are just frustrating for me. It's nice, it's fast, but it's a little annoying. Behind the scenes, that's right. In case you don't know the acronym, not BTS like the K-pop band, right? Liliana they had a fantastic holiday to go and see some concerts, and had a problem with, was it Stray Kids? Yeah, Brian, the Z shell default, that's fine. I don't mind that you have a default shell in your operating system. I want to be able to use my preferred shell. That's kind of the whole point. Anyways, so here's where we are. We're going to get in. We're going to talk about SignalR, and we're going to introduce and add an upvote and downvote button to items in the collection. Real easy, right? We're going to... for the purposes of this, I'm not going to track whether somebody's logged in or that they voted multiple times. I'm just going to put that number in memory. In the future, we'll put it into a database. But for now, just to show that we're passing this information back and forth, we're going to add an in-memory upvote and downvote so that other folks can see that are using the website how much people like one item in the collection, how much people don't like another item in the collection. Okay? Patrick on YouTube asks, is this a YouTube Twitch simulcast? Yes, it is. We're on youtube.com/.net, D-O-T-N-E-T. We're also on the Visual Studio channel on Twitch, twitch.tv/Visual Studio, all one word, no space in between. And you can join in from either location. You can see the same content. But of course, on Twitch, you get all the cool emotes with the .NET bot and the Scott Guthrie red shirt, things like that. Because we don't have them on YouTube. All right, moving on. Let's talk about SignalR. So I included a link here to the overview about ASP.NET Core SignalR. And folks in chat have been asking, well, why should I use SignalR instead of some other technology? You're not going to let me close this, are you? Can we zoom in a little bit further and get that? Thank you. There we go. So good candidates for SignalR: apps that get frequent updates from the server, gaming, social networks, voting. That's what we're doing today. Auction, maps, GPS apps, chat, like you're participating in, can be a SignalR app. Okay, it's using some sort of socket connection to send messages back and forth. Thank you there, Saduki. Dashboards and monitoring apps, company dashboards, instant sales updates, travel alerts. My gosh, if you're shopping for tickets to a concert, for travel, to be able to get those instant updates back and forth as you make your request to book a ticket and get that feedback back immediately that ticket is available or has been sold, there's a good candidate for SignalR. Collaborative apps, whiteboard, team meeting software, examples of collaborative apps. Team meeting software. What's an example of team meeting software that you'd collaborate? I can't think of. The name slips my mind. Team software. I'll think of it sometime. Apps that require notifications like social networks, email, chat, games, right? Travel alerts, many other use notifications. There you go. So very, very cool array of features that you can use, types of applications that you can add this into. Handles connection management automatically, sends messages to all connected clients simultaneously, like the chat room, those of you that are watching right now. Zoom, you want me to zoom? Oh, I'll zoom in a little bit there. Sends messages to specific clients or a group of clients, like a chat room. There's a group that are here watching on the .NET channel, on the Visual Studio channel, and that's a group. There's, of course, another channel, Microsoft Developer, or whoever else you're watching, right? Dr. Lupo on YouTube, right? Disguised Toast over on Twitch. Those different channels are different groups using the same servers, and they're interacting. It's not necessarily SignalR that's doing that. In fact, we know with Twitch, it's actually IRC behind the scenes. But similar. Nah, not Microsoft Groups, something like that. Must have been talking about Slack. So sends messages to specific clients, and it scales to handle increasing traffic. So all of the source, just like all of .NET, is available open source on GitHub. Not the verb zoom. Oh, I see. I'm having fun with you. How does it handle scaling? We can scale by adding more servers using a backplane, so that it actually sets up and uses a little bit of not quite a service bus, but that same type of publish subscribe technology to send messages back and forth between other servers. There's many different transports we can use, and this is that abstraction I was talking about. It starts with WebSockets. We know what WebSockets is. It's an HTML5 standard technology that allows you to make a two-way socket connection to send messages back and forth to a server and to those clients that are attached. If WebSockets are blocked or not available in that client, we don't see that as much, but there are folks who will block WebSockets for security reasons. We can still use server-sent events. Remember that technology from back in the day? It's still supported and part of the standard. And we can use long polling. So long polling makes a request to the server and waits and listens with a long timeout. And the server just keeps that connection open and sends messages when it finds something. All right? So SignalR automatically chooses the best transport, and that's something that I want to make sure to those folks who are saying, well, what's a competitor to SignalR? Nothing competes with SignalR. Nobody has an abstraction over these technologies. We do this to make sure that you can always stay connected. You can always have your clients connected and interacting with your application. Can you connect a Windows service to a SignalR hub? Asks DH on YouTube. Yes, you can. Absolutely. Tiger Pleb asks, do we need to learn JavaScript for SignalR, or just C# is good to go? Well, Tiger Pleb, if you're connecting a website to interact with SignalR, you're going to need a little bit of JavaScript. If you're connecting some sort of application to a SignalR service, to a SignalR endpoint, you can use one of several different clients that are available. There's JavaScript client. Is it going to show me the other clients? It's not going to show me the other clients right here. Clients. There you go. There's a .NET client, a Java client, Java API, JavaScript client. There's other clients available out there, including, I think there was Python and C++ available. But there are pre-built clients that you can go check out and interact with. I thought... Come on. No. No. I guess those are the only ones that are currently available right now. I thought there were ones for unsupported clients. C++ and Swift. I thought we had a Python one at one point. But so use whatever client technology is appropriate for your platform. All right. So where was I? So a hub is the server component of it. We're going to learn more about those in just a minute as we build our first. Task management can be an applicable utility for SignalR. I think that goes back to collaborative applications, whiteboard apps, team meeting software. So task management, project management software. Yeah, right. I think of something like Trello as a task management application, Trello.com, where you drag little cards that have information about tasks to be done, projects to be worked on, and it automatically updates on other team members' websites as they're looking at the web. That is using, it's not using SignalR, but it's using a similar technology. Scrolling down here. Long polling, keep alive, not quite. Socket.io, well, Socket.io is a WebSocket server with Node, so that would be one component of it. Seen some documents speaking about SignalR server and client. Is that a thing or just a way to call some tech from different sites? No, they speak to each other. It is absolutely a thing. All right, so let's get into this. Let's build a hub. Let's register and get started with SignalR. I don't want the tutorial. I don't want streaming. Get started. Let's click through to here, and I want to make sure I add all the right code here. Yes, web project, blah, blah, blah. I think it's just add. I'm going to need the JavaScript. Sure, we'll do that. Yeah, fine. I'm going to install the CLI library manager tool. So over here. Am I in the right folder? Yes. Good. That's so small. Let's go to a console. That's even smaller. There we go. I'm going to go into that folder. I'm going to go into my source folder. Yes. So let's add this tool. Microsoft Library Manager CLI. And this is a command line tool that will allow you to build and reference JavaScript libraries, CSS libraries that are available out on NPM, other places like that. And we are going to use, you'll see it called libman. So we're going to grab the latest information about that. So libman install SignalR latest from the unpackage into www.root JS SignalR, and here's the files we're going to go get, the JavaScript libraries for it. And I thought I just said. You make me sad. Why can't I use that? ZSHL to make it available. Do that. Now. There. Still not found. Nice. Nice. Way to go. You can add it to your profile running the file. I see. I'm stuck using. Now do the export. I find that really annoying. Still not finding it. Nice. Way to go. Am I going to get it if I open a new shell? Nope. That's really annoying. It's installed. Put it down. Right. No. Bad CPU type. Oh. All right. Yeah, bad CPU type. So, was that what I was getting over here? Yeah, I was. I was getting not found, and then I eventually got bad CPU type. Okay. So, that's because it installed and put down the, what's it called, version. It put down the x86 version, not the ARM64, because I'm on an ARM64. So, yep. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to go download it by hand. That's so annoying. That's kind of annoying. Microsoft SignalR latest. So we're going to go to npm JS. I could even do an npm init. right? I don't even have NPM installed here. That's annoying. All right. Is it Microsoft SignalR? This one. I'm just going to download it this time. Yeah, I don't have Yarn here either, do I? Yarn. No. Bummer. All things that I find... Yeah. I want to just download a copy. Over here. Clients. That's Java. TypeScript? Really? I've gone too far. No. Yeah, clients TS. Clients TS. SignalR. So where's the output of this? I can't install. Why don't I have NPM installed? Back to Windows, right? Yeah, I am using an M1 Mac. No, I don't have NPM available. Right? That's not there. No. I can't believe I need to do this. No. I don't want to go through all that. It's going to take way too long. I just want the library. Right? That's the whole point of libman here, is that it goes and finds it and grabs the DLL and puts it down. What happens? Let's go back to this. Can I specify arc? And can I say ARM64? Uninstall. Yeah. No, that's the uninstall again. Do that. Am I going to get it in ARM64? Maybe. Yes! I need to specify the architecture. All right, we got that now. You see, it's little things like that that are frustrating to me, that you need to know to install and work around. So, okay. It's going and getting the file, putting it down for us. Ugh. I accidentally started pulling my video connector out of here. Here we go. Downloading file. Good. And brew install node. Yeah. Oh, at least brew is responding. Cool. So now the library should be available to us over here. www.root.js, SignalR, and there's SignalR.js. Okay. So there's the library we need in order to be able to code. No. Right? Is it option B? No. Okay, so I have my client available. Now I need to go and create the hub, but I'm not just creating the hub. I'm going to add SignalR first here. So there was a question earlier, is SignalR just a little bit of middleware? Yes, it is. So we add into our application where we're defining, here's all the things that our application knows how to do. We need to add SignalR into the mix here, and then we need to map a hub. And that hub is our unit of interaction. It defines what a server is, a service endpoint that SignalR connects into. So we need to add, and I will add it here, builder services add SignalR. So this defines and lets ASP.NET know, make these SignalR services available to the rest of the application. All right. Can I send that link of SignalR on the Microsoft Docs? It's inside the documentation for today's stream. Now we need to map a hub. So let's talk about what a hub is. So I'm going to go over here. And inside our application, I'm actually going to put this file right on the root. And I'm going to call this voting hub. Okay. So this is my collection site. Public class. Go away. There we go. Voting hub. And this is a hub. So we need a using statement. Semicolon there and a using statement. Good. So now I have a hub. So the hub is that SignalR endpoint that our clients are going to know how to connect into and listen for messages. It's also the server-side point that we're going to be able, from our server, be able to reach in and push a message down to our clients. So we need to connect our hub into our configuration so that it knows to go and listen for that. There we go. And that is going to come about, I believe it's down here in app use. Am I right? Down in app use, app map hub. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, down there. After the use. All right, here we go. I turned on caps lock, didn't I? So map hub specifies, and it tells, here's that middleware coming in. It tells ASP.NET Core, there's a thing you need to listen and respond to. It's a ASP.NET Core hub. Look at that. Look at what GitHub Copilot is already suggesting. It knows that I just wrote a voting hub. It knows I'm calling map hub, and it's suggesting the entire syntax for me. And that is the syntax I want. Map my voting hub to this address, /voting. Because I want folks to be able to vote for whether they like one hat or another, and we'll be able to see in my collection which things people like more than others. Sham asks, do we have a SignalR as a NuGet package? We used to for .NET Framework. It was delivered as a NuGet package. Starting with .NET Core, things that are being shipped as JavaScript libraries or libraries for other platforms, we do not package with NuGet and instead deliver as packages native to those platforms. An NPM package so we get the JavaScript content. Okay, there's a Maven package, I believe, for the Java client as well, and so on and so forth. So, how you doing there, Stefan? Hello, hello. Does SignalR essentially use WebSockets? I just answered that question. It starts with WebSockets and it fails over. You can rewind about 5 minutes and hear me talk about that. So now I have a location where we have the ability to vote to interact, but I need to actually write some methods, some content into here so that it knows how to receive that content. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to, just like over here, we're going to add not send message, but we're going to add our own method in here that's going to receive information about the collection item that we're interacting with and the vote. Is it a positive vote or is it a negative vote? And we'll store that information so we can display and send that message out to everybody who's connected so they can get the new total. So let's go and start writing that. So this is going to be, yep, it's a task. And we're going to, yeah, we're sending a vote. It's not a string here, but Copilot, pretty close here to what I want to do. First thing that I want, though, is the collection item ID. And then I need a positive or negative. That's a Boolean. Vote direction, right? So if you're voting positive, I'm going to receive true. If you're voting negative, I'm going to receive false and pass that information around. I'm not necessarily going to send out, here I received this vote, but instead I want to go to my collection and store that information about, well, how many votes does each have? My collection is stored and managed over here inside of models. I have my collection context and I have my collection repository. Let's use the collection repository to store information about those votes. Now, I'm doing this in memory. This isn't the best place to store it. I could actually write it into the database. I could have something in the database to do that. I don't want to get involved in tweak and work with the database today. I'm just going to do this in memory for right now, just so that we can get through this a little bit. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to allocate a read-only, it's going to be a dictionary. Actually, let's make it a concurrent dictionary. Dictionary. Spell it right, Fritz. Not string, but I'm going to receive an int, and I'm going to have an int, right? Yep, votes. Look at that. Look at that. It doesn't know what a concurrent dictionary is. Why don't you know what a concurrent dictionary is? It's in System Collections Concurrent. See? Concurrent dictionary. Why you do this? You know what that is. Did I spell it wrong over here? Concurrent directionary. We're live. What can I tell you? Am I going to talk about how to integrate identity next time? Not next time, but when we get to security, we will. Typos. Yes, indeed. All right. So by default, everything's going to have 0 votes. So when we go to get, I'm not just going to return the items in the array. Now I need to return and include the votes to go with that object. So right now, our object is a collection item. I need to also include their votes. So instead of returning... how do we want to do this? We could do this as a dictionary and change the interface. Or I could update collection item and add the object. I think I should just update collection item. This one. There we go. Down here. And let's put public int votes. Right? And no, I didn't sell it. Not mapped. Right? That way it doesn't get written to the database and it doesn't try to load it from the database. Format document, thank you. All right. So now I have my votes there, so I can merge it together. I could just write it to the database like that. I could. Oh, fine, I'll write it to the database. So then it'll always be there and I can just load it. Okay. I'm good like that. Which means let's make sure I can build. Not yet. So let's clear this. .NET build. Good. .NET EF migrations. Add. Introducing votes. So it's going to build. It's going to identify that new field that we just added and create an update for that. I thought we added that. Add package, Microsoft, entity, framework, core, design. Do it again. Do it again. Yeah, I misspelled. Yep. There we go. Now let's migrate. Let's apply that. .NET EF database update, and now I have those fields in my little SQLite database. Build started. Build succeeded. Boom. And you can see select count. Applying migration. There's the alter table. Collection items, integer, not null, default 0. So we now have a votes column in our database that we can interact with. Cool. Next step. When we receive a vote, we want to increment the value in the database and return, here's the new total of votes. Send that information, here's the new total of votes for this object to all of the attached clients. That's a couple steps. So we need to receive our repository first, right? We can receive, right, our collection repository. Thank you. Looks good. And we'll add our using statement. Thank you. And down here, I will generate that read-only field. Now I can go update, but I don't have a method to do that update to add a vote. So let's add a method here to vote for, right? Public void vote int ID bool direction. And this is uber simple. I'm just going to reach into the context. Not votes add or update. I'm getting rid of that concurrent dictionary. We're not doing that. I was trying to weasel out of that, but no. Ooh. Look at that. Once again, GitHub Copilot. It's going to go find by ID that object. If it didn't find one, return. If positive direction, increment the number of votes. Otherwise, decrement the number of votes. Update it, save the changes. Nice. And I just lost it. You make me sad. Put it back up there again. Please? Where'd it go? You, go away. Yes, I want that. Thank you. All right. So it now knows how to increment and save and work with the count of votes on an object. Next step. Yeah, Copilot is really, really good stuff. How you doing there? Add the dev man. Chris Funk. Hello, hello. Let's now go back over. Not there. Back over to the hub. So instead, we're going to reach into the repository. Yeah, that's exactly what I want to do. And then I want to notify all clients. I want to notify them the new total vote amount. Maybe I should return that total vote amount from the vote method. I think that's a good idea. Right? Return 0 if we can't find one. Otherwise, we are going to return item votes. So we'll go over here and say new vote total equals that. So here, this is how we communicate to those clients that are connected to our server, right? So we want to push a message out to them. So we need to reach into those clients. We're going to communicate with all of them, and we're going to send a message. And that message is a method that we want to execute. Okay? So we're going to send a message called receive vote. We're going to pass in, I like the name of this that Copilot is suggesting. We received a vote for this collection item. Here's the new total. That works for me. We're going to want to specify, we're going to want to build that method in our client so that it knows exactly what to call and go through and interact with. Let me catch up with a couple of comments here coming through. Comma Keys, hello there. Good to see you in the Netherlands. Wolfhound Jesse. Yeah, right. They are charging. They are going to be charging a subscription fee to use Copilot. You don't like me calling it a repository. You'd prefer to call it a manager. It's early in the construction. It could be many different things. It could be a proxy for interacting with the database. But for right now, I'm calling it a repository because it's eventually going to grow and do more interactions with data stores. Why does C# not have wildcard tokens for generic types? I'm not familiar with the concept of wildcard tokens. Why? I can refer to a generic type with a generic type parameter. So I'm not sure what feature it is that you're looking for. I would need to do some research on Java to understand what you're talking about. Okay, so I have a method here that's going to send out and call receive vote. So I need to build two things now. I need to build some sort of client interface, some client user interface that's going to call send vote and send in that message that says, yes, I voted, I like this. No, I don't like it. And I need to write a method called receive vote that's going to repaint those areas of the screen with the new totals. Let's do it. So our interface that has been presenting this information is over in our views, home. We have our index and we have a model that is writing out here for this card is this item, and it outputs that on screen like this for my hat collection and my Atari and my Blazer hats. I should put my GitHub hat up there. So I want to put a voting series of buttons down here. And then I also want to be able to receive that message about them, dispatch, and trigger and update those little indicators. So let's write a little bit of that user interface and the JavaScript to support that. Okay? So this footer is inside the card, which is sitting here in shared item card. Okay? So in the footer, I have this model acquired. Now I want to add my little voting buttons here. I'm not editing. I'm not putting edit in there. But I'm going to put a thumbs up, a thumbs down, and we'll detect clicks on those and some sort of a number. Okay. So span class equals vote up. And that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Right away suggesting font awesome with a font awesome thumbs up and a vote count next to it. I'm going to do this and that span because then I want to have a vote down. You gonna suggest? Yes. You don't have to think about these things. I didn't have to go search for the font awesome capabilities over there. Let's get that running here with .NET Watch so we can see it running. Does not contain vote count. What did I do? Item card. Oh. It's not vote count. No, I believe it's votes. Isn't that what I called it? Really? Really? Even though I say always allow, it still prompts me. Thanks. Yep. That's not what I want. Because... where'd it go? Collection item. Yeah, votes. Did that? Rebuild. Force it. There we go. Now I've got a 0 here, and it doesn't have the font awesome things. I didn't think it did. So I'm going to cheat. Instead of using font awesome there, we're on a Mac. I'm going to use an emoji. Because emojis work in .NET. So, there we go. Yeah, give me that one. Sure. Do it. Thank you. And over here for vote down, I'm going to grab the vote down emote. Cool. And there they are. And I'm just using the native emotes on the application, on the operating system. So, fantastic. When the Visual Studio Community 2022 is supposed to, I don't know, Shyam, I'm not familiar with their roadmap. Gabriel asks, are repositories supposed to hold CRUD operations and service-specific methods? I always get them confused. No, they're more data interaction methods. So a service will do more business-specific methods. Yeah, repository does the more data interaction. If we can't find them, we'll return 0. What was that? But not some error message. Is it fine? Yeah, yeah. Can I turn on Karnak? No, I cannot. Because I'm on a Mac. I should put the number in between. I kind of agree. Excuse me? Can somebody ban on YouTube, please? All right, I agree. Let's put the number of votes in the middle. So let's put that up there. And now it's in the middle. And I'd like that to be floated over on the right side. Can I put that? Should it be in a div? Let's put it in a div. Why not? Can I just say style equals float right? Cool. All right, so now they're floating over there, and we should probably put, and I know I'm doing these with styles. And they could be put into a CSS sheet. We'll do that another time. I'm just trying to get the user interface looking a little bit nicer, so I've got a pointer there now. Fantastic. All right. Next steps. I need to actually wire up so when you click these things, they do something. Okay? So on the page, we need to reference and include the SignalR library. So, not on the index. I want to put it on the layout here. All right. So down here in the script area, if I don't remember if Visual Studio Code does this, but can I just drop that in there? Nope. Not what I wanted. I wanted to add a reference to it. No matter. Script source equals tilde JS. No. SignalR dist. It's not in min.js. Yep. That should make that available to me now, right? SignalR got it on a 404. SignalR. Come on now. Dist browser. Oh, darn it. There it is. Now I got it. That is really, really small. Thank you. All right. Cool. Next steps. Would it be too much work to make the votes operate independently? They're going to. What do you mean? Okay. So I've got that script in there. I now need to add a script on the page to allow those votes to be triggered and interacted with. So that's on my index page over here. Now I'm going to use that scripts section. So whatever I put in here, right, is going to be rendered and put into the, it's actually in the footer of the page. Not footer, but at the bottom. No, I'm not creating a carousel, right? So if I do alert hello world, right, I get the alert. So we're going to put in here some code so that when our application starts up, it grabs the information about SignalR, makes a connection to our hub, and listens for the receive vote command. Additionally, we're going to wire up so that when we click the vote, we send a message back to the SignalR hub that says send vote, right? Was that what we called it? Send vote? We're out of that. We're going to need to go back in here. Yeah, send vote. We're going to need to call send vote going back. So let's do these couple of changes here. No, that's not it. And it's not using jQuery like that. There's code that'll get you close. Here we go. Let's start with this code that was written and bring this in. Now, I could put this out in its own JavaScript file. I'm putting it right here so you can see it being brought in on the pages. Catching up. Yeah, I've got a link for you to the SignalR documents in the source for today. I don't need the use strict. It's going to create a... So these are the objects that we use to connect to the SignalR hub. We're going to create a hub connection builder at this URL. And it is voting, if I remember correctly. Yep, /voting. Document get element by ID send button. That's not where I'm going here. And I'm not disabling it. So let's get rid of that. Here we go. On. This is where we're going to receive vote information. So connection on. We're receiving a message that says send this type of notification. Execute this method. We're, instead of receive message, we're receiving a vote, and we're receiving two pieces of information. Item ID, total votes. Now, instead of going and creating an element and go finding the messages, I'm going to go find that item on page and update the number of votes. Well, it's right here. Vote count total votes. So let's give this an ID and call this item underscore and then whatever the ID is. So we can say item dot model. Sorry. Okay. So far, so good. Right? Right. Let's inspect. Take a look right here. Yep, item underscore 2. We're good. All right, so we've got that configured properly. So over here, instead of creating an element, we're going to go get element by ID, item underscore the ID number. So let's actually change this to backticks so we can do a little string interpolation here, and we can just say item ID, and we're not appending child, right? Sure, that's fine. We can do that. Actually, it should be like text content is what it should be. Right? So now it'll receive a message and put that there, but I need to wire up the on-click to actually send that message. What level of JavaScript do we need to learn? Not a lot. Can I write the code like this in all C# in a Blazor app? Yes, you can, James. Shouldn't this stream be in the software and game development category? Restream reroutes it and changes to talk shows. Okay. So these buttons now I want to wire up so that they call the, they send the vote message in. So, those right there, that's, we're going to do connection start. I always miss this, and this is why I copied and pasted code. You have to tell Blazor, SignalR to start the connection. So we created a connection up here, configured it to listen for the receive vote notification, start the connection, then this is turning off a send button. We don't need to do that. But we do want to catch errors and log appropriately. Document get element by ID this, add event listener click. Well, I'm going to do a query selector. And I'm going to select Vote up and vote down. Let's also call these just vote. No, you know what? I can do vote up, comma, vote down, can't I? Right, do that. Just because I like this neat and tidy. Yeah. Right, all right, so here, I'm going to say vote up, vote down. On click, it's going to receive that object. So I need to inspect it now to figure out what's the ID I'm sending information to. Do I plan to demonstrate handling reconnecting? Yeah, I can. I've got about 10 minutes. We should be able to add that in. So let me put the ID on these so I can just reference and pull it out of here. So, model, ID. Right, so this is using standard HTML, JavaScript to go and set up these data attributes here that we'll be able to reach into and pull values out of. It's no big deal to add those extra attributes. They disappear when we're actually interacting. So I'll have the event. So the event that fired it, I should be able to say event source element. So I should be able to say here item ID equals event source element. I'm not going to get the ID, but I want to do, is it data? I know I can do attributes data dash ID. Yeah, dot value. Right? Now, here's where it's sending the message back. Connection invoke send message. I'm not sending message. The method that I'm calling is send vote. So I'm going to go back over here. Send vote. And there were two things. So let's say it's the ID first. So item ID. And the message that we're sending, well, that's going to be the Boolean. It's the true false indicating direction. So I'm going to say here, direction equals, I could do that. I could totally do that. Right? Sure, let's do that just because it's easy. Right? Data direction equals true. It's kind of a cheesy way to do it, but we'll optimize later. Know what I mean? I'm so used to using Windows and Linux machines, the command option key sequences are not. I'm not used to it in my head right now. So this is not going to be that. It'll be this. So we're going to send that and catch an error. Sure, we'll console log that. But we're going to receive a message coming back on this, right? So there's a value that comes back from connection invoke, right? No, wait, I don't. No. It'll send the update and it'll update over there. We're good. An event prevent default. Yeah. All right. Is that everything? Might be. Might be. Just going to refresh. Now if I vote, something didn't connect all the way through. There we go. Document query selector is null. Where's the document query selector? Come on now. Document. It should be query selector all. Right? Vote up. Vote down. Didn't find anything. All right, fine. You want to be that way? Since I have the direction over there, I can just make these vote. and just change that to, it should be a dot in front of it. Ah, darn it. I forgot the dot. There they are. Found them. Fantastic. So now when I click, didn't do anything. Almost there, I bet. WebSocket connecting. Got a 404 JS SignalR dist. I don't care about that. Should have seen the message going across. It didn't start. Nah, that's JavaScript. Yep, there it is. So here, this is it making its connection. And WebSockets, yes. I should be able to see. I should be able to see the messages going back and forth. Why not? Why am I missing the messages here? Both directions are true. Did I do that? Oh, you're right. Thank you. Still not. Switching protocols, y'all. So I forget where it is in here that I can see in Firefox that I can see the messages going back and forth. But it definitely connected. Right? I'm clicking. Is it actually wired up? Should be query selector all. Oh shoot. So I need to do a for each? What's the quick way to do query selector all? Yeah. JavaScript query selector all add event listener. Yeah. Right, there's a quick way to add. Yeah. Sure. Thanks. Go away. Yeah, it does a for each on it. I'm just going to copy that. Right, so we say var voting buttons equals voting buttons length and we can get rid of that. We can say voting buttons I, add event listener, and I need one more. Yep. That should have done it. Failed to invoke send vote due to an error on the server. Okay, now we're getting messages to the server. Let's take a look at what's happening on the server. What happened over here? Not clear. Rebuild that. Started listening. Vote. Error on the server. Okay, it selected the data. Let's see here. I am almost out of time. I've got 2 minutes to go. New vote total, repository vote, voting direction. So if I go here, find by ID, that should have done first or default and returned it. So where's my error? It's not throwing an error for me. I'm out of time. I'm going to need to correct this and get back to you next time. Oh my gosh. My apologies, friends. We are out of time. Let me finish this. For those of you that are watching on Learn TV, this will cut off. They'll run over to the next show. I'm going to figure out where this error is here and see if we can get this addressed. Promise callback. Right, this is an async task. Wait a sec. Find by ID. No. None of this is async. It is... let's put that in there. You go away. It's not even getting there. Receiving vote. Sure. Nope. It's not even getting to send vote here. Let's go back and look at our SignalR documentation. So, mapped it. Public async task should receive it. Voting hub / voting. So I'm getting connected. Make sure that that's completely restarted so it has the connection. That's fine. No, due to an error on the server, and it looks like it's not even getting to here. Is it possible? That's in the wrong place. Yes. Right? Nope. Still not getting it. I am stumped because it is connected. Now there won't be zero. There will be zero references. Is there a cast exception? Nope. Yes, the IDs are in. Is it a type? Am I running into a type mismatch? Sending the data. Right. So is it int.parse? And this is a Boolean. Oh my gosh. I'm forgetting my JavaScript type conversion. JavaScript to integer. Right? It's not parse int. Right? Yeah. That's how long it's been since I've done this. Since I've done some of the JavaScript stuff on this. I could just turn them back into... I could do type of number. Where the heck is parse int? Yeah, there's parse int. Right, and you have to pass in the 10 to it. So I could do parse int 10, and I need to do Boolean. String to Boolean. And is it parse bool? Is that what I'm thinking? Oh, I could just do string comparison. Sure. Direction equals true. Right? Just to make sure that the... Right, and hard reload, vote. There we go. And it's voting appropriately. Awesome. Awesome. right? And these do behave independently, and it's saved in the database. So even if I refresh, I get the same content loaded back. Oh my gosh. There it was. We got it. Yeah. Nope, it wasn't authentication. It was typing. Whew. All right, friends. We got it working. Let me head over to the other desk. And come back over here. Now, what's important that I didn't show there and I didn't get into, there's reconnect capabilities, there's connection timeout capabilities there, but there's links to the documentation about all of that. I hit a couple of errors getting that connected. My apologies for running a little bit long here. The last thing that I do want to make sure that you know is if I opened another browser, you'd see those updates flow through and update on that side also. It's not just an API connection, okay? It's a two-way connection where it'll update those other pages. And I think we need to cover and show a little bit of that functionality next time when we get together to talk about this application. I went a little bit long, but thank you so much, friends, for tuning in. I really appreciate you joining us. For being a part, that's the wrong music. There's the music. Really appreciate you joining me for this stream where we answered your questions, went through, built a little bit with SignalR, and we're going to move on and we're going to get into some more capabilities for this application next time. So I will get it updated and show the final results of that for folks that missed out on it. All right. Yeah, we got the query selector all bits working as well. All right. Let's call it a day. Those of you that are watching on YouTube, thank you so much for watching. There's plenty of other great videos. Check the links down below, and there's also links in the description to the source code for this project so you can catch up and see and tinker with it if you want to work with it. So I hope you check those out, and there's going to be more streams later on today. And those of you that are watching us on Twitch, let's set up for a raid. Let's see who else is broadcasting on the big Twitch TV network that we can get you connected with. Somebody else who's maybe doing some tech, somebody who's having some fun here, so that you can check out all the cool things that are going on. Let me see who else is streaming in game development. Let's see who else is out there we can get you connected with. Just quickly scanning through the list of folks. You know what? I think we're gonna raid our friend Lana Lux. Just looking through here. Yeah. Lana's programming with Unity. I want to send you over there to see some more about what's going on. Yep. Thank you so much, friends, for tuning in. I will be back tomorrow on my channel on Twitch, twitch.tv/CSharpFritz. We'll be talking about Blazor. We'll be talking about Azure and building single-page applications. I hope to see you then. Otherwise, keep an eye out and join me on Friday on my channel, where I'll be teaching a 12-hour Blazor workshop. I hope to see you then. Have a great day. Get ready to say hi to my friend Lana Lux. Take care.